Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Secretary, good to see you again.
Thank you.
I have a question about Project Silvis, actually a couple, which you're calling the permit review process and permit decision guarantee. Now, I'm reading through the bullet points here. My commendations for increasing efficiencies I see in mining programs. You've increased efficiency 74%, water program 68, waste air radiation and remediation 67 and 19% for oil and gas. My question is, did we establish a baseline on permit approvals before this started, and how does that compare to the permit approvals now?
Well, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to ask Dana to address permit decision process.
Great.
Project Silvis was my name, and really what it referred to was, and that's not the name of the program, what it refers to is, we all went to college, at least many of us did, when the professor hands out in the beginning of the year a syllabus. And that tells the students what's expected and allows them to deliver what is expected. That was really one of the thoughts behind the permit decision process, and that is receiving quality permit applications which would allow DEP to do its job, and that is review and approve or not approve of the permit applications, as opposed to holding hand writing permit applications for folks. Anyway, let me let Dana describe the philosophy and some of the early numbers, and these are very early numbers, Representative, and,
Sure.
and I admit that. This is the first quarter that the process has been in place. So if you don't mind, but with the Chairman's indulgence, if that's okay.
Hi, good morning. Thanks. To answer the question about the baseline, when we took our numbers this year to try to measure how we were doing in terms of efficiency, we used the metric number of days to process, meaning from the time it comes in the door to the time we make a decision. And the baseline we measured against was the prior year's performance timelines under the old process. So although we only have 1 quarter of data, as the Secretary said, and I think we acknowledged in our report that that is a small data set, so we hope to collect more and come to better conclusions as we move forward. When comparing our performance in this first quarter under the new process to the prior year under the old process, we were able to say that we were more efficient in number of days to process in all 4 major program areas.
Thank you. That's much to be admired, but it doesn't answer my question. My question was comparing outright denials under the old system versus the new system. Do we have a comparison?
Let me, Dana can take that, but let me take that. It was my understanding that in the, quote, old system, very few permits were ever denied anyway. It was about 2% that were ever denied. So we had the anomaly of 40% of permit applications coming in the door that were deficient out of the gate, having to be returned, having to be nursemaided through the process, which sometimes would take several years, frankly, generating a lot of frustration, on the regulated community side, but frankly, some diversion and frustration on the DEP side of the table, too, because our job is to review permit applications and determine whether they comply or do not comply with the law. Our job is not to write permit applications for applicants that are seeking permits. That was the sort of the impetus for the entire project, the entire idea. We now have expectations of what a permit application needs to look like when it comes in the door. It needs to be a good job. It's that simple. Consultants need to do a good job. Businesses who submit them need to do a good job. If you went to college and you submitted a Blue Book exam, we're expected to have done a good job, or a paper. So we expect the same thing.
Is there any way I could get you to draw a relative comparison as to outright denials pre-Project Silvis and currently?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I have the numbers if you...
I don't want to take up the committee's time. One
That's
more-
okay. I mean, how many numbers are there?
It's very quick.
Okay, let's hear
In the
them.
prior 9 years to us implementing the new process, from November of 2003 through November of 2012, our denial rate was 1.31%. In the first quarter under the new process, our denial rate is 1.36%.
Okay, short quarter. We'll have more. One more question, Mr. Chairman, and then I will sit down gladly, and I do appreciate your patience. I see your line item for sewage facilities planning grants and enforcements, which is Act 537, is zero funded. We currently have an issue in Armstrong County in that we've turned away major housing plans because our existing sewage plants cannot handle increased capacity. Now, without that line item, could you give me another solution for how I can bring in this housing developer for 300 new families?
Well, I don't know the particulars of that particular matter, but I can tell you that since 2008, that item has been, in essence, cut back on because of the situation in the state budget or in the federal budget, and folks have had an opportunity to see this coming, to prepare for it, to plan for it. I can also say that Act 13, again, through the Commonwealth Financing Authority, CFA, through PAHTO, or H2O, sorry, and Penvest will be able to also provide some assistance in that regard.
Just going to have to learn new ways to deal with it, basically.
Life is all about learning new ways, Representative.
Glad you brought that up. Mr. Chairman, I promise you one more question. I'll sit down. I'll catch you later, Secretary. Thank you.